Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the short summary recording covering the basic COVID-19 UIF benefits. So we've seen a couple of guides coming through. Information has been updated, and this is based on the latest version of information that we got from the COVID-19 TERS Easy Aid Guide and the Government Gazette that was issued on the 26th of March 2020. I'd also just like to emphasize that this is just a high-level overview to give you some exposure of the benefits available to employers. We'll be hosting a very nice webinar. If you're interested in this topic, you're welcome to join us for this webinar on the 6th of April. Join us for this free webinar in which we'll be unpacking these issues in much more detail. So basically what it boils down to, the coronavirus temporary employer-employee relief scheme has been brought to life. There's a dedicated email address, and that is covid19ters@labour.gov.za. If you send an email to this email address, you'll receive an automatic reply with documents and information. So I do suggest that that is your starting point to get the latest version of instructions that you need to follow and the process that you need to follow, and also documents that you might be able to use. So 2 benefits are now specifically provided for per this Government Gazette. The first benefit is a natural disaster benefit. Now, the natural disaster benefit basically provides for the circumstance where the employer decides as a result of corona to close down the business for a period and to send employees home. Now, that's deemed to be a temporary layoff. And if the employer cannot pay employees during the shutdown period, the employer can then apply for this natural disaster benefit from the UIF. Important to note, the employer should apply for this benefit. It's delinked from the normal UIF benefits. So normally per the UIF structure, there's 1 credit for every 4 days worked. But that is not applicable here. So this works differently, but you cannot claim this benefit over and above the normal UIF benefit. So the 2 can't be claimed simultaneously, and I think that makes sense. It's only fair. The minimum value of the benefit is 3,500 Rand. That's the value of the minimum wage, and it's limited to 17,712 Rand per person per month. So initially, the initial version of the guide just stated that there's an amount of 3,500 Rand per person, but now they've got a maximum, a cap, that they've also included in this benefit. The term of the benefit is the shorter of either the duration of the shutdown or a maximum period of 3 months. So interesting that this is only provided for 3 months. So should this pandemic and its consequences be part of our lives for longer than 3 months, what then? Well, of course, the situation could be reassessed and we could see some changes coming in. It could be extended. But at this stage, the argument is that the normal UIF benefits would be kicking in after 3 months. So this is the first benefit. In order to qualify, the company must be registered with the UIF. The company's application must meet the documentary proof requirements, and the company's closure must be linked directly to the COVID-19 pandemic. So you can't argue that the company was struggling beforehand and in any way had to close down its business. So this is as a direct result of the pandemic. The process to be followed: firstly, you need to report the closure to COVID-19 TERS@labour.gov.za. Then you need to submit documents. So documents that you need to submit: firstly, letter of authority on an official company letterhead that basically gives that person the permission to lodge a claim on behalf of the company. An MOA, I'll show you an example of what that looks like just now. Evidence or payroll of the last 3 months of salaries paid, and then confirmation of bank account details, certified latest bank statement. So these documents, ladies and gentlemen, should then be submitted to this email address, COVID-19 UIF claims@labour.gov.za. Payment specifically is mentioned can only be made after the MOA has been signed off, and they've also created a dedicated phone number that you can call should you need assistance. Right, so that's basically the process to be followed. Very different to what the normal process looks like, and also the documentary proof is very different to what it normally looks like. Right, and this is also where we've seen some changes from the previous version of information that has come out. I'd just like to show you this MOA. So this is the Memorandum of Agreement between the UIF and then the employer or bargaining council, right? And it's quite a lengthy document. We'll also make this available to you, but it's a legal agreement basically then entered into. Right, and this has been made available by the Department of Employment and Labour as a sort of standard template that one can use. Right, so now we know what documents should be submitted and the process that should be followed. The second benefit is an illness benefit, and this is where the employee is required to be quarantined for 14 days. So what you then need is you need a confirmation letter from both the employer and a confirmation letter from the employee. And that basically proves that both parties agree to 14 days of special leave. That now replaces the medical certificate that you'd normally need to submit. But if the period of quarantine exceeds 14 days, then you need a medical certificate from a medical practitioner that needs to be submitted. So you again need to report the closure, documents to submit, letter of authority, MOA, and if the employee is being paid by the employer during this time, the employee will not be entitled to this benefit. So your focus here would be on the confirmation letter that is coming from the employer and the employee agreeing to the special leave. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed this very short high-level overview. Again, I'd like to invite you to join us on the 6th of April. It promises to be a very, very interesting session where we'll be unpacking all the UIF benefits, exactly what it involves, the process that you need to follow, and then also how it impacts the employer-employee relationship going forward. So we hope to see you in this webinar.